In this video, we're going to take a quick look at the Generate Setup Sheets option from inside the BobCAM for RHINO CAM tree. Now, after we've created our toolpath, we've simulated it, we're basically at the point where we're going to post, which we'll do in the next video. We first want to go in and generate setup sheets. Now, setup sheets allow us to see all the information about the job, depending on what all we have inside the setup sheets. But we have a few defaults that are really good for just getting good information for your parts. Now, the way we generate a setup sheet is just by right-clicking here on the milling job for the job you want to generate the setup sheet for, and then say Generate Setup Sheet. Now, there's different types of setup sheets. We have a full setup sheet, which is the one I'll be using. It's the one I always use. But we also have some more simplified versions, little printer-friendly versions with the mill setup sheet and the mill setup sheet simple. We also have a mill tool list and a tool list simplified, so again, easier for printing. And then you also have some job options for wire EDM. So you have a wire setup sheet and a second wire setup sheet. So you can look at those, see if they got the information you want. Otherwise, I'm going to use the full setup sheet, and I'm going to hit OK. And we're just going to wait, and it's going to load inside of Internet Explorer. So when we get in here, you'll see the file name, the post processor, the machine, the date and the time, the program number, the units, the cutting distance, the rapid distance, the number of operations, number of tools, number of setups, and total cycle time. Right here's the location of where you'll find the NC file when you post it. And right here's an image of the file. So it actually takes a screenshot of whatever your active view is inside of RHINO and puts it in here. And then right down here we have our material, our stock information for the length, the width, and the height of the stock. And then down here we have a breakdown of every tool. So we have our 3-inch face mill. It shows us the protrusion length, shows us the flute length, shows us everything about that tool. All the way down we have all the tools defined. And then when we go a little bit further, we could see each operation. So operation 1 of 12 is going to take 9 minutes and 2 seconds. That's our advanced rough. It's running at 99 inches per minute. And the way we're figuring out these feeds and speeds, or the calculation for the cycle time, is we know the total distance that this is traveling, and we know how fast we're supposed to be cutting at. So we just do some math. We say 890 divided by 99, and that's going to give us how many inches per minute and everything we calculate. So it's 9 minutes to cut this. So you do want to make sure you're accurate, but also know that these cycle times can be off by a little bit because there's no acceleration or deceleration factored in. All your rapid moves are rapiding at whatever your rapid feed rate was. In my case, 1800 is my rapid feed rate. So we only have 225 total inches of rapid on here. I'm not even adding 1 minute of time spent rapiding to this job. So there's a lot that we got to factor in. You know, take it with a grain of salt, add a couple minutes to any job that you're going to be running, or get your feed rates dialed in perfectly to where they're going to run and adjust. But this will give us our cycle times, just basic math. And there it is, each breakdown of every toolpath. So it's all set up just fine. Now, to save this, the easiest way I've found is either print it out or print it to a PDF. Now, if you're using Windows 10, that's as simple as right-clicking and going down to the print option here. And then you wait for the printer information to come up. And if you're using Windows 10, you have a Microsoft Print to PDF. And all you do is say print, and then you wait a second. And then it's going to pop up and ask you to name it. So I'll say mill tutorial completed. And I'm just going to get rid of the .3dm at the end of it so that it can save it as a PDF. So then I could just say save. And then if I close this file out, so say I lose it, now I could just reopen that file. And then right here we look for our PDF file in here. Right there. And I'm just going to say open this up with, and I'll just use Google Chrome to open it. Right here, Google Chrome. And there it is. So from here, I could either re-reference this if I'm running the job again, or now I could go and print it however I want, print it out to whatever printer I want to use. Maybe I wasn't ready to print it earlier, so I just saved it. And there is our setup sheet for the entire job. And that concludes the video on generating setup sheets from inside of BobCAM for RHINO.